Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you watching this video. I am Manat Sharma from Oliveboard and I'm here with a live mint analysis that we do every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 8 a.m. So I cover the important news articles from the newspaper and I link it with the starting portion, and we do a few MCQs also at the end for your practice. Now that your exam is approaching, following current affairs is very, very important. You have to have an idea what is happening around the world, what is happening in the Indian economy, and for that, newspaper is the best thing to follow, right? Anybody who wants to connect with me beyond this session, then you can connect with me on Telegram. Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. Just type Mannat Educator, you will have access to my Telegram account. All right. Also, before I begin, if you want to download this YouTube class PDF, you can do it from the Oliveboard app. Just go to the courses section, and there's going to be a separate YouTube class PDFs folder. You can download the PDF from here. And whoever is watching, just let me know in the comment section whether my audio and video is clear, so that we can have this class in a smooth and continuous manner. And until you're writing in the comment section whether the audio and video is fine, let us see what are we going to cover today. Firstly, China opens door to rare earth relief. So we knew that जो rare earth metals हैं उनकी डोमिनेंस बहुत ज़्यादा है. चाइना की बहुत डोमिनेंस है रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स पे, रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स पे. एंड चाइना हैड you know put a curb on the exports of these rare earth metals, जिस वजह से ग्लोबली सप्लाई चेन डिसरप्शन बहुत ज़्यादा हो रही थी, राइट? जब ग्लोबली सप्लाई चेन डिसरप्शन बहुत रहेगी तो वो प्रॉब्लमेटिक रहेगा फॉर द एंटायर इकोनॉमी, राइट? तो अब चाइना ने रिलीफ प्रोवाइड कर लिया है. चाइना ने अब वापस से अलाउ कर दिया है रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स को एक्सपोर्ट करना. गुड मॉर्निंग केवलिन. ऑलराइट, ऑल क्लियर, फाइन. Then second, India secured 6-month US waiver on sanctions for Iran's Chabahar port. तो इंडिया ने ये चाबहार पोर्ट ईरान में बनाया है, विच इज़ अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पोर्ट फॉर अस. जो हमारा आईमेक है उसके लिए भी ये चाबहार पोर्ट बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. इंडिया मिडल ईस्ट यूरोप इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर जो है उसके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है ये पोर्ट. अच्छा, पाकिस्तान को बाईपास करने के लिए हमने ये ईरान में जो ये चाबहार पोर्ट है फॉर ट्रेड पर्पसेस हमने ये बनाया था ताकि हम पाकिस्तान वाला रूट बाईपास कर सके. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. स्ट्रेटेजिकली दिस पोर्ट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अब यहाँ पे क्या है कि यूएस ने सैंक्शंस पुट करे हैं, लेकिन फिलहाल के लिए फॉर द नेक्स्ट 6 मंथ्स के अराउंड ये वाले सैंक्शंस अभी इंडिया के बाहर जो पोर्ट है ईरान में उसके ऊपर नहीं लगेगा. लेट्स सी व्हाट दिस नेक्स्ट दिस न्यूज़ इज इन डिटेल वी आर गोइंग टू सी. उसके अलावा स्टेट डेवलपमेंट लोन्स फॉल इन अक्टूबर एज यील्ड्स रिमेन हाई. तो जो स्टेट डेवलपमेंट लोन्स हैं, स्टेट में डेवलपमेंट पर्पसेस के लिए जो लोन्स हैं वो फॉल हो गए हैं क्योंकि जो बॉन्ड यील्ड्स हैं वो हाई हैं. ठीक है, बॉन्ड यील्ड्स हैं वो हाई हैं. ये भी देखते हैं क्या है, इससे रिलेटेड हमने पहले भी ये न्यूज़ कवर की है कुछ इस तरह से. देन सेबी ईजेस रोल आउट ऑफ डेरिवेटिव रूल्स. तो डेरिवेटिव्स जो हैं, जो आपके फ्यूचर्स मार्केट में, जो आपके स्टॉक मार्केट में हम ट्रेड करते हैं उसमें जो ये डेरिवेटिव्स हैं उससे रिलेटेड हैं, ये रूल्स रोल आउट किए गए हैं सेबी ने. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी आर गोइंग टू कवर अ फ्यू फैक्ट बेस्ड न्यूज़ और फिर हम एमसीक्यू प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. ठीक है, तो चलिए लेट्स बिगिन विद आवर सेशन. पहला न्यूज़ है चाइना ओपन्स डोर टू रेयर अर्थ रिलीफ. तो आप मुझे फटाफट से कमेंट सेक्शन में बता दीजिए दैट व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स या रेयर अर्थ मेटल्स. ये एक बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट एक चीज़ है जो अभी के लिए करंट एस्पेक्ट में अगर देखें तो ये बहुत ज़्यादा यूजफुल है रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स. एंड इफ़ यू सी ऑन अ डेली बेसिस वी गेट न्यूज़ related to this these rare earth magnets, these rare earth metals, we get news on a daily basis. तो ये naturally आपके एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बन जाते हैं. ठीक है, एंड ठीक है, तो ये देख लेते हैं, चाइना हैज ईज्ड रिस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट एक्सपोर्ट्स। ठीक है, तो पहले उन्होंने रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगाए थे, कर्ब्स लगाए थे और रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट के एक्सपोर्ट्स पे, लेकिन अब इन रिस्ट्रिक्शंस को चाइना ने ईज आउट कर दिया है। फटाफट से मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन में बता दीजिए कि रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स का क्या मतलब है, क्या ये रेयर होते हैं इकोनॉमी में, इसीलिए इनकी प्रोडक्शन कम है, क्या रीजन है? ठीक है, सो नाउ ये जो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस को ईज आउट किया है, दिस इज गोइंग टू बेनिफिट इंडिया एंड अदर कंट्रीज जो बहुत ज़्यादा डिपेंड करते हैं इन मटेरियल्स पे। जो ये रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स हैं, या आपकी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स हो गया, जो बैटरीज एंड ऑल हो गया, आपकी सेमिकॉन चिप्स हो गया, इनके अंदर रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स का बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा रोल है। ये रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स, अगर मैं बात करूं इनकी, दीज आर नॉट एक्चुअली रेयर इन द इकोनॉमी। ये ऐसा नहीं है कि ये बहुत रेयरली प्रेजेंट है, ये बहुत ज़्यादा अबंडेंट में प्रेजेंस है, ये बहुत ज़्यादा अबंडेंटली प्रेजेंट है इन द इकोनॉमी। लेकिन क्यों इनको हम रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स कहते हैं? क्योंकि इनकी एक्सट्रैक्शन बहुत ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट है। द एक्सट्रैक्शन इज वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट। ओके सुदर्शन, फाइन। The extraction of rare earth magnets is very very difficult because they are, present together, they are present in compounds, they are present, all these magnets, they are present very tightly with each other, because of which the extraction is very difficult. 70 to 80% of the extraction facility is with China. China is dominant in that, and 91% of the production is done through China. ठीक है, so most of the countries are dependent on China, even the western countries are dependent on China for these rare earth magnet exports. We really don't have any technology as of now, and this China kind of has a monopoly over this. And any other country who would want to uh, increase or would want to improve the production and all of this, find new technology, China is definitely going to put a curb on that. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे दैट इज व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम। सो रेयर अर्थ मैग्नेट्स आर नॉट एक्चुअली रेयर, बट देयर एक्सट्रैक्शन इज वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट। आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू। दैट इज व्हाई दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, प्लस इनका यूज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन ईवी बैटरी सेमिकॉन चिप्स एंड ऑल। फाइन, now what is going to be the impact on India because of these easing restrictions? Four Indian companies have received approval from China's Ministry of Commerce to import rare earth magnets. What are these firms? J Ushin Limited. The method to extract them is difficult. It is not rare naturally. Very good, Kevlin. Absolutely correct. Okay. So, four Indian companies, which all four Indian companies? J Ushin Limited, D Diamond Electric India Private Limited, Indian unit of Continental AG, Indian unit of Hitachi Astemo. Okay, these magnets are vital for sectors like automotive, electronics, renewable energy, and that is why rare earth magnets, we have to secure rare earth magnets or metals as soon as possible. ठीक है, we have had diplomatic interventions by Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, as confirmed by ministry officials. There was India-China diplomatic engagement because of which this deal had been cracked. Fine. Why? What is the economic and industrial importance of this? These rare earth materials, these are very important for EVs, for wind turbines, mobile phones, defense technologies. These restrictions, if eased, they are going to provide relief to the Indian manufacturers, and they will, be able to produce more and more. Production can be increased. China temporarily suspended new export curbs on rare earth metals, right? Because it was trying to balance the domestic control, and it was also to ease trade friction with US, that they have eased the export of rare earth magnets. ठीक है, so China is allowing these magnet exports only and only for consumer applications, not for defense and strategic sectors. So China ने क्या कहा है, that you can use these rare earth magnets, we're going to export it to you, but only for consumer applications, not for any kind of defense or strategic sectors. It could mark a significant thaw in supply chain bottlenecks that have hurt global manufacturing since 2023. Fine. So this was the news. Second is that India secures 6-month US waiver on sanctions for Iran's Chabahar port. Because this Chabahar port is very very important. Fine. So the US administration granted India 6-month exemption from American sanctions that are applied to Chabahar's port. So US has put in sanctions on the Chabahar port, fine, on Iran's Chabahar port. ठीक है, but we have a 6-month exemption for a time being. Okay? Now, India can continue its developmental and trade activities at the port without facing any kind of penalties under the US sanctions law, and it is effective 29th October. Now, why Chabahar port is important? Because it is developed by India. It is developed by India in Iran, and it is a strategic maritime gateway. It provides access to Afghanistan, it provides access to Central Asia, bypassing Pakistan. So now if this is India, now this is India, we can bypass Pakistan, and we can have access to Central Asia and Afghanistan via this Iran's Chabahar port. So it is strategically very, very important. We don't have to depend on Pakistan for this, for connectivity. Okay? It supports India's regional connectivity strategy, facilitating trade and transit with landlocked countries like Afghanistan. Now, what is the reason for the waiver? Why has US, waived off these for at least 6 months? Because it is supporting Afghanistan's reconstruction and reducing dependence on Pakistan for regional connectivity. That is why. Okay? Then the US State Department confirmed that exemption was granted to assist Afghanistan's economic development. Okay, this earlier waiver had been revoked on 29 September 2024 but was reinstated after India's request. Fine. Then India operates the Shahid Behesti terminal at Chabahar through India Port Global Limited since 2018. Important. Okay? India operates which terminal? Shahid Beheshti terminal. There are two terminals. This one terminal, Shahid Beheshti terminal at Chabahar, this is through India Ports Global Limited since 2018. And India and Iran have a 10-year agreement that allowing India to manage and invest in port operations. And India plans to invest $120 million in port equipment like mobile harbor cranes, rail mounted quake cranes, forklifts, unloaders. For all these, India is investing a lot of money. India has extended $250 million line of credit to improve Chabahar related infrastructure. So Chabahar port is very, very important, strategically very important for us. Okay, it is a strategic alternative to Gwadar port. Pakistan mein we have the Gwadar port, and this Chabahar port is an alternative to this Gwadar port. Fine. See, there is this string of pearls strategy of China, wherein China is trying to surround India through different ports. So if this is India, China is trying to uh, China is trying to build ports in the Indian Ocean and trying to surround India. It is forming a chain of these ports. Okay, this is your homework. You're going to check out what is this string of pearls strategy of China. So China is trying to build, like, for example, we have Gadar port, we have port in Malaysia. ऐसे ऐसे करके China is trying to surround us. But contrary to this, we have our diamond necklace strategy. Which strategy? Diamond necklace strategy. So this diamond necklace strategy is of whom? It is of India. Okay? So India, as a counter to the string of pearls strategy, is this diamond necklace strategy, wherein India is also developing its ports side by side wherever China is developing its ports, so that we can counter them at every level. And Gwadar port is China's string of pearls kind of strategy, which is in Pakistan, and an alternative to that is our Chabahar port. Okay, so your homework is that you're going to read about the string of pearls strategy. You're going to read about this diamond necklace strategy. It is a very interesting concept. Fine. So this Gwadar port was developed by China under Belt and Road Initiative, and in this, China has a lot of dominance over here. So India ka alternative is Chabahar port in Iran. It enhances India's role in regional trade and helps counter China's growing influence in Indian Ocean and Central Asia. The waiver is viewed as diplomatic success for India, balancing relations with both US and Iran amid these global tensions. The waiver is valid for how many months? 6 months. And if you have to extend it, it is going to depend on geopolitical developments, US foreign policy. Fine. And it also strengthens India's position as a key development partner in the region and aligns with Connect Central Asia policy. I hope this news is clear to all of you. Then state development loans fall in October as yields remain high. Now, what is this news? In October 25, state development loan issuances by Indian state governments fell sharply by 52.88%, reaching 57,010 crore, down from 1.21 trillion in September. So, these loans which these state governments take up, the loans that they issue in order to in order for state development activities, these issuances have reduced. This is the lowest borrowing in months as states showed reduced appetite due to high yields in the bond market. Because in the bond market, the yield is high, that is why, these states, they are refraining from taking up loans from the market, from the banks and all. ठीक है, the 10-year SDL yield remained around 7.2%, showing no major change. So जो ये आपकी SDL yield है, State Development Loan Yield, it did not show much change, it did not show much improvement during October, even though RBI is trying to stabilize the rates. Whereas the stagnation in yields is attributed to an oversupply of state bonds in recent months and muted investor demand. So investor demand is less. Plus, there is oversupply of state bonds in the market. So they are using bonds in order to raise money. Why? Because the yield is very high as compared to the state development loans. ठीक है? Many states paused fresh issuances temporarily, waiting for better market conditions and yield moderation. Right, so according to RBI data, states had borrowed 6.48 trillion rupees between April and September, close to 5.01 trillion rupees. SDLs are critical for financing infrastructure and development projects. The fall in SDL issuances reflects cautious borrowing as states manage finances and persistent high interest costs. ठीक है? If I compare with the previous years, historically states tend to borrow more heavily in the latter half of the fiscal year to fund capital expenditure, welfare schemes, and infrastructure. ठीक है? Uh, uh, in the second half of the year, they usually buy more and more loans. क्योंकि पहले पहले, in the first 6 months, so they already have funds which are available with them, through their budget and all. And बाद में, when they utilize this budget, then they need more amount of money. Total SDL borrowing target was 15.06 trillion with an expected rise in the December quarter. And union territories and states are projected to borrow about 2.82 trillion rupees. Borrowing trends could pick up again depending on states' needs and fiscal space. And SDL issuances, we can see a fall in SDL issuances, but yields remain elevated due to long-term borrowings because bonds, long-term borrowings of the center and states is high. Fine. This is the data that you can remember. SDL issuances as of October 2025, 57,010 crore. Drop in SDL issuances 52.88%. SDL yield is approximately 7.2%. Total SDL raised 5.01 trillion rupees, and SDL target for financial year 26 is 15.06 trillion. You can remember these indicators. Fine. Then we have next news, which is that SEBI eases rollout of derivative rules. Here, one important fact is that you need to understand what derivatives are. Can anyone in the comment section tell me the meaning of derivatives? Meaning of derivatives. This is again your homework, especially those who are preparing for SEBI examination. Please read the entire chapter of derivatives. Do it in detail because most of the time, so many amount of times, you have a lot of news related to this, and there is, a chance that you will get a question related to the derivative market. Very important topic. So write down in the comment section and tell me what is the meaning of derivatives. Till then, we are going to cover the news. So SEBI has announced new staggered deadlines for the rollout of derivative eligibility rules. Okay, so derivative eligibility related rules we have over here. The transition period for compliance, providing relief from SEBI's 29 May directive that introduced stricter rules to de-risk market indices by limiting the dominance of a few heavyweight stocks. So basically, uh, SEBI had brought in a 29 May directive, okay, that introduced stricter rules to de-risk market indices. So they had brought in stricter rules. Now these rules have been eased. Okay, these eligibility rules have been eased. Let's see what did this 29 May directive said. 29th May ko RBI said that for an index to qualify for derivatives trading, what is the criteria for an index to qualify in derivative trading? is that there should be at least 14 stocks, first of all. No single stock should carry more than 20% weight, and top 3 stocks combined must not exceed 45% weight in the index. Index is a group of stocks जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं. Fine. Financial contracts, Kevlin is saying, Sudhanshu is saying contracts trading like futures and options. Right. A contract whose value is based on another asset. Absolutely correct. So, a derivative is a contract which depends, the value of which depends on an underlying asset. For example, if I am talking about a gold derivative, so gold derivative is not actually gold, but it is like a piece of paper only whose value is decided by the value of gold. So if gold is 1 lakh value, it is having 1 lakh value as of now per 10 gram. The value of this paper will also be 1 lakh per 10 gram, like this. So value of this contract is depending on the value of gold. So the gold derivative is depending on the value of gold. It is not actually gold, but the value is being derived from the gold derivative, from the gold value. That is what is a derivative. Futures, options and all this comes under derivative market. Your homework is you have to cover this chapter in detail. Now there is criteria that which, now either an individual stock you can trade, an index can also be utilized for derivatives trading. So index मतलब group of stocks. ठीक है? So for qualifying an index, if it has to qualify for derivatives, it has to meet up this criteria. This is according to a 29 May directive, that it should contain at least 14 stocks, ensure no single stock carries more than 20% weight, and top 3 stocks combined should not have a weight of 45%. It should not exceed 45% weight. ठीक है? Now, this rule aimed to make indices more diversified, reduce concentration risk in derivatives market like Bank Nifty, Fin Nifty, and BSE index. So, concentration risk, key concentration risk is what kind of risk? That only a particular stock should not really go up like that. It should be diversified. Fine. It should be more diversified. We don't have to create a kind of a monopolistic or a monopolist situation over there. In that case, concentration नहीं होनी चाहिए एक जगह पे. So for that, for reducing that in the derivative markets, we brought in these rules. But now SEBI has revised the implementation plan. Initially, all exchanges, they were required to comply with the new norms by 3rd November. So by 3rd November, which is today, by today they had to comply with these new norms. But SEBI has extended these deadlines. ठीक है? Because these could impact passive funds, disrupt the derivatives market, reduce liquidity in the exchange traded funds which are linked to these indices. So, to reduce this volatility, SEBI has increased the deadline. So, now what is SEBI saying? That you can do a phased implementation. In phases, you can implement. For Bank Nifty, which is of NSE, SEBI introduced a 4-month phased rebalancing process. So, now within 4 months, धीरे धीरे करके we are going to implement this. Adjustments will gradually reduce the weight of top constituents and redistribute it among smaller ones. तो अगर कहीं पे concentration is a lot, तो वहाँ से कम होके it is going to be redistributed to the other stocks. New compliance deadline is 31st March 2026. Sometimes directly MCQ can be asked, statement based. For Fin Nifty, NSE and BankX BSE, the compliance process will be completed in a single adjustment phase. Final deadline for both indices is 31st December 2025. ठीक है? Then, if I talk about industry feedback and rationale, then market participants, they have advised SEBI that adjusting existing indices like Bank Nifty, Fin Nifty, that it was better than creating new indices. ठीक है कि adjust कर दो existing indices, do not need to create new indices because it is going to avoid any kind of market disruption. ठीक है, NSE reported the Nifty Bank Index, there are 12 stocks. Nifty Financial Services Index, 20 stocks, they would be affected. BSE stated BankX, 10 stocks would be affected. Now, what are the benefits of the extension of this deadline by March 2026? It helps maintain market liquidity, trading continuity, reduces operational risk for ETFs and these derivative products, ensures orderly market adjustment, supports broader participation in the derivatives ecosystem. ठीक है? Earlier compliance deadline 3rd November, but now it has been extended to 31st March 2026 uh, for Bank Nifty and Fin Nifty and BankX के लिए 31st December 2025. ठीक है, इंडेक्स डाइवर्सिफिकेशन नॉर्म्स, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट दैट, मिनिमम 14 stocks, 12-20% weight per stock, maximum 45% weight for top 3 stocks. Please remember these norms. These are very, very important. Directly MCQ can be asked. Okay, so apart from these important news, we have a few fact-based news. For example, government to seek additional fund in winter session. So, uh, 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 Finance Minister is seeking Parliament's approval for additional government funds for financial year 26 in this upcoming winter session because of revenue shortfall. So revenue is less than your expenditure, and up to you can see that GST rates have been reduced, and because of which revenue is going to be reduced. Then income tax, already we had brought in a lot of reductions in income tax. So personal income tax cuts, GST rate reductions, which were announced earlier, because of these updates, revenue is falling short of expenditure. India's 50 trillion annual budget for financial year 26 faces pressure as revenue receipts are falling short of estimates. The amount of additional funds will be finalized by second half of November after consultations. Centre had previously sought net additional spending of 95,605 crore, take in two tranches, 1.37 trillion rupees in previous fiscal year. And these represent net cash additions after adjusting for savings under other budget heads. Now, what are the reasons behind additional demand? Tax cuts, है ना? What are the reasons? Tax cuts लेकर आए हैं, GST cuts, income tax cuts, है ना? Then fiscal deficit is higher than expected. Cooling inflation. Inflation is also, the slower nominal GDP growth we can see. Increased ministry spending also. ठीक है, the income tax relief is expected to cause a revenue impact of 1 trillion rupees. This is according to Chief Policy Advisor at EY, DK Srivastav. GST reforms may result in an even higher revenue loss. ठीक है, the expected consumption boost due to lower taxes could partially offset the revenue loss, but still there is a problem. There might be a deficit. Center is trying to balance the act between supporting growth and through the tax relief and spending, and we have to obviously focus on on managing fiscal prudence also. ठीक है, financial 26 का budget size 50 trillion, revenue impact, how is it going to impact the revenue? 1 trillion rupees because of income tax relief, and it is going to be slightly higher for GST cuts also. ठीक है, fine. Next news is that state level green pathways need a national roadmap. Now, what is this news? That India's climate future is being shaped by state and district level initiatives. What they are saying is that we are building a climate resilient atmosphere, or we are focusing on climate change, we are focusing on climate future, but everything is happening on a district level basis or state level basis it is happening. For example, states like Odisha, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, they have localized their climate actions. They are putting in efforts to improve the climate scenario. Despite the progress, the overall national framework remains fragmented, lacks coordination. So what they are saying is district and state level, we are doing well. However, at the national level, we do not have a framework at the national level, a good framework at the national level. We are still, using fragmented, basics only. ठीक है? Fine. So states are integrating climate concerns into fiscal and development planning. Odisha introduced climate budget tagging, state climate action plans. Tamil Nadu established Tamil Nadu Green Climate Company for coordinated water management and green finance. Kerala and Himachal Pradesh, they have, they're having strong institutional capacity, but face localized climate disaster, floods, landslides. Gujarat and Maharashtra pioneered renewable energy, EV infrastructure, payments for ecological services. Community-led governance has also improved. Local communities play a vital role in ensuring climate policy durability. Maharashtra promotes climate-resilient agriculture. Tamil Nadu and Kerala use decentralized flood management systems. Sikkim focuses on organic planning. Rajasthan uses traditional jihad. So we are seeing that a lot of states are putting in efforts, but at the national level, we do not really have a proper framework. Okay, so states fall into four categories: high readiness, high urgency. This is based on climate readiness and urgency. High readiness related to climate change and all. High urgency Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. Medium readiness, high urgency Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Andhra Pradesh. Low readiness, high urgency Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. High readiness, medium urgency Kerala, Himachal Pradesh. India's federal climate paradox is that the states which are most exposed to climate risks, they have the least capacity to respond, if you see. That is the climate paradox. right? Current efforts are disconnected. There is no, there's no national law. There's no unified federal framework. So this article is saying that we need a national climate law. Fiscal and performance accountability should be there. So, we need a national climate law to ensure fiscal and performance accountability, independent climate audits by CAG, green performance linked central grants, integration of climate indicators in finance commission transfers. What is this proposed national climate framework? It should codify cooperative federalism. It should not centralize power but focus on cooperative federalism, that the center and the states should work in collaboration with each other. They should cooperate with each other. ठीक है? Fine. Then anchored in transparent climate finance and state level accountability. Recommended by Supreme Court's 2024 ruling affirming the right to freedom from adverse effects of climate change. Right. Fine. So these were the important news articles. I hope it is clear to all of you, because Sudhanshu Singh was Delhi not in the list. So we have a lot of states over here. We do not have Delhi in this list, because it is not very prone to kind of natural disasters. The more problem in Delhi is due to urbanization, you can say, or man-made anthropogenic activities. Sudhanshu, है ना? Fine, ठीक है. I hope this is clear. I hope these news articles were clear to all of you. Let's do a few MCQs to check whether you guys have understood or not. Fine, if there is any other thing that you want to ask, you can simultaneously ask me in the comment section. ठीक है? First question: what is the key requirement for ensuring nationwide success of India's green initiatives? Firstly, increasing foreign direct investment in renewable energy, launching state-wise carbon tax programs, creating a national framework climate law ensuring fiscal transparency and coordination, expanding private sector participation in climate projects, increasing subsidies for electric vehicles. What is the answer for the first question? हाँ जी, सुधांशु, अभिनव, केवलिन, सुदर्शन, पीजी, भूमि, quickly give me the answer. C, which is absolutely correct. Creating a national framework climate law ensuring fiscal transparency and coordination. Second question: why is the government planning to seek additional funds during the upcoming winter session of Parliament? To finance new social welfare schemes, to compensate for revenue shortfalls caused by tax and GST rate cuts, to raise funds for defense modernization, to reduce fiscal deficit below the budgeted level, to fund disinvestment programs. Second question. Acha, if there's anyone new over here, Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. If you want, you can connect with me over there. I keep updating you with all those these new classes that I take up. Okay? This is my Telegram handle. Mannat Educator. Hanji, what is the answer? Only Abhinav has given me D as the answer. Anybody else? Sudhanshu, Kevin has given me B as the answer. So why is the government planning to seek additional funds? Kevin is also saying, Acha, Kevin is saying B, Abhinav is saying D. The answer is B, to compensate for revenue shortfall. So we are wanting additional funds because there are revenue shortfalls caused by tax and GST rate cuts. Okay? What was the main reason SEBI extended the deadline for the rollout of new derivative eligibility rules? To promote a new index creation for derivatives trading, to reduce concentration in foreign stock holdings, to provide time for exchanges to rebalance indices without disrupting liquidity, to allow inclusion of foreign stocks in Indian derivatives, to encourage more companies to list on Indian exchanges. What is the answer? Sudarshan has given me B as the answer. What else? Anybody else? Kevlin says C. Acha, Sudarshan, acha, answer for this is C. So all of you are saying C, which is absolutely correct. To provide time for exchanges to rebalance indices without disrupting liquidity. Absolutely correct. Why did the issuance of state development loans fall sharply in October 2025? A, because RBI imposed borrowing restrictions on states. B, due to a significant fall in infrastructure spending by states. C, due to fiscal deficit limits being breached by all states. D, because states paused issuances and high yields and an oversupply of state bonds. E, because foreign investors increased demand for state bonds. What is the answer? What is the answer to this question? Question number your state development loans related, DDD, which is absolutely correct because states paused issuances and amid high yields and and an oversupply of state bonds. Why did the US grant India a 6-month waiver on sanctions for for Iran's Chabahar port? To support India's oil imports from Iran, to allow India to continue port operations essential for Afghanistan's connectivity and development, to help India export weapons and defense goods to Iran, to promote US companies' investment in Chabahar port, to impose restrictions on India's trade with Central Asia. What is the answer? 6-month waiver and reason. Himanshi says B, Sudarshan B, Kevlin B, Abhinav B. The correct answer is B, to allow India to continue port operations essential for Afghanistan's connectivity and development. Right? Yes, Priya B. Absolutely correct. Recently, China approved rare earth magnet exports to 4 Indian companies. Which of the following statements is correct regarding the development? The approvals came after diplomatic intervention by India's External Affairs Minister. It marks China's first ever export approval to India since 2019. The exports will include defense grade magnets for missile guidance systems. The move was initiated by Reserve Bank of India under trade facilitation norms. China imposed a total ban on all rare earth exports to Asian countries. Which is correct regarding this development? Abhinav says A, Kevlin A, Sudarshan A, Priya A, which is absolutely correct. The approvals came after diplomatic intervention by by India's External Affairs Minister. Fine. So that is all from my side, everyone. I hope today's session was clear to all of you. Okay, whatever homework I have given you, definitely do that. Right, and you can connect with me on Telegram also. I will be posting a descriptive question in the group. So if you guys want, you can write down the answer and share the answer with me. I will check it out. Okay? If there's anything that you want to ask me in the comment section. Otherwise, we'll end the session over here. Just let me know if everything is clear. We'll meet up in the next session. Until then, keep studying. Wish you all the best, and I will see you all in my next one. You're welcome, Kevlin. All right. Bye bye, everyone, and I will see you in my next one.